and welcome to another episode of our From the Helm series live here at the ASX Mid-Caps Conference for 2025. I'm Grady Wulff, Senior Market Analyst with Bell Financial Group. Metallium is pioneering a low-carbon, high-efficiency approach to recovering critical and precious metals from mineral concentrates and high-grade waste streams. Today, I'm thrilled to be joined by MTM CEO and MD Michael Walshe. Michael, thank you for joining us today. For investors who may not be familiar with the MTM story, can you please tell us about the company?
Sure, yeah. We're commercializing a US-invented technology for metals recovery.
Wow.
That's better than any other method out there.
Wow. So can you tell us about the technology that you've recently launched in collaboration with the Canadian-listed Ucore and what that's going to do to open up your market space?
Yeah, sure. Basically, China is the world's dominant source of refined rare earths, and Trump is trying to address this imbalance right now.
Yeah.
Our combination with Ucore, we bolt our technologies together, and it gives any developer in the US or in the Western world an ability to not have to use China for downstream processing.
Wow.
So we put our two technologies together, we get a product at the back end that's the same as the likes of Linus and MP Materials. That's what they produce, separated rare earth oxides. And it basically gives up-and-coming developers like our partner Meteoric Resources an avenue to not use China.
So downstream is generally where the margins are made. Is that why you've targeted this area with this new technology?
Yeah, correct. It's a platform technology. It's got applicability for gold from electronic waste, gallium and germanium, which are these critical metals for NVIDIA chips, which is just one example of how much they underpin modern technologies. And we've also got mineral processing as another business unit where we're looking to recover rare earths, gallium, antimony, and basically the whole periodic table is at our disposal.
Wow. Now, is there any risk of your flash dual heating FJH technology being replicated, and what IP protections do you have in place at the moment?
Look, it's very heavily protected. There's a number of head patents that came from Rice University in Houston. We've since then added our own sub-patents. So there's about 20 patents currently protecting the overall IP.
Wow.
But the main secret source is not going to be disclosed in any patent. And that's what really protects it, both from an IP perspective and from a secret source perspective.
So at the moment, no competitors that can take it over. That's fantastic.
No competitor that can take such a wide variety of complex feedstocks. Exactly,
because it's so applicable to different sources, as you mentioned before. Yeah. Now, what is the underlying value proposition of FJH and the way it works?
To recover metals typically takes big complicated flow sheets.
Yeah.
You need a lot of sulfuric acid in most cases for rare earths and lithium. We effectively get rid of the need for using sulfuric acid, complex high footprint leaching, and several other unit operations. We can effectively delete 80% of the steps in traditional flow sheets. Many of these flow sheets were invented 50, 60 years ago. So It's basically bringing modern tech to an archaic method, which most of which hasn't been revolutionized for decades.
Now, you did mention Meteoric Resources is one customer, but what does the end customer look like for you, and how do you attract them?
Basically, we've got two business units. On the urban mining, which is waste streams, we buy the feedstock ourselves, like printed circuit boards. Some of them go over 100 grams, up to 500 grams per ton gold.
Wow.
So orders of magnitude more than an ore body.
Yeah.
So that particular client, our client is the printed circuit board collector or supplier, and then we sell those recovered metals to various companies who normally trade in metals.
Okay.
On the second business unit, it's a licensing and royalty-based model where we sell the equipment to mining companies. They will use our equipment at their site, and we will get paid a fee per ton of material processed. So two discrete business units.
And diversified earnings.
Completely.
What's the split in revenue at the moment?
We're a pre-revenue company currently, but we think that we can probably aim to have at least 50-50 between both units, and we're trying to take this global.
Yeah.
So currently we're focused in the US and primarily focused on e-waste, but then globally I think mineral processing is a key target area for us.
How have you found the entrance into the US market so far?
Look, we've got a great reception. Look, the technology was actually invented via Department of Defense funding back in 2017. So there's a keen support behind the technology and the inventor, Dr. James Tour out of Rice University. So we're actively applying for several big federal grants from DOD and DOE, and we think we've got a very strong shot of getting some. We've recently actually got our first DOD grant based on gallium, so we're on the way.
Ready to go. Now, why the US and why Texas for initial operations? Was Australia ever on the cards?
Never. just compare Albanese and Trump.
Yeah.
Trump is actually doing things to circumvent China.
Yeah.
But basically, the support behind what Trump is trying to change the geopolitical order. As mentioned, China is the world's refiner of these metals. Ford Motor Company recently shut down production because China turned off supply of some of these metals. So
exactly.
Trump is trying to address that. There's huge support. Like, we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars being put into companies like MP Materials a couple of weeks ago by the Department of Defense.
Yeah.
And this is only the beginning. It's really a wartime footing. The executive orders that he's doing are akin to what happened during World War II, where they made the likes of Ford make tanks instead of their cars. So
yeah.
We couldn't have picked a better time to do what we're doing. And Texas is the most favorable place in the world probably to do what we're doing.
Absolutely.
Permitting is easy, people are proactive, and people just get things done.
Absolutely. Now, how well funded are you to complete the pilot plant in Texas?
Yeah, look, we recently completed a $50 million institutional raise, so we're fully funded. We hope till at least the end of next year. And look, we do hope to be getting cash flowing by H1 this next calendar year. So yeah, it's very exciting.
That was my next question about runway to free cash flow. Can you talk us through that and what the plan is?
Yeah, as mentioned, e-waste is going to be the bread and butter of the business, where we recover gold and copper from printed circuit boards, also tin and other metals.
As we know, copper is definitely in high demand right now.
And gold is only going one way.
Up, exactly.
As these countries are going to start debasing their currencies. So gold is a key bread and butter focus for us right now. We've already got supply agreements from 2 major recycling companies, and that gives us this printed circuit board waste that we want to recover gold that's over 100 grams per ton. So that's definitely going to be the initial cash flow for us. We hope to achieve that cash flow in H1 next year, and then beyond that we want to expand our model across the United States, replicate the model in Texas where we have a pre-permitted site that can handle waste. We want to adopt that across several states where they collect this e-waste currently. So.
And how much equity capital have you raised in the initial plant, and do you have any debt ready to go?
There's zero debt.
Okay.
We are looking at options like Exim Bank, very low interest rate loans that support critical metal onshoring in the US. So that's one source of debt funding that we could pursue. So in the last 12 months, we've raised about $65 million from the markets. And every single raise has been at a way higher share price than the previous.
Wow.
So it's been well received by investors.
So it shows the markets are definitely seeing what you're seeing from the inside as well. Now, over the next 12 months, what can investors expect?
Look, there's a huge pipeline of news flow. Hopefully we'll get some of these grants underway with DOD or DOE. We've got lots of collaborations going with major mining companies and processing companies. We've got the first plant to complete construction and also commissioning, which is happening December in Q1. And then thereafter, we're going to be growing the team and making new acquisitions and basically adopting our model across the United States. Eventually then also in Asia and Europe, where e-waste is, even bigger volumes than the United States. It's
a very exciting time to be a Metallium shareholder. Michael, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us for that episode of From the Helm live here at the SMID Caps Conference for ASX 2025. I hope you enjoyed that episode as much as we did filming it. If you did, be sure to subscribe to all our YouTube channels to stay up to date with market commentary, analysis, insights, and of course, these exclusive CEO interviews.